Hello and welcome. My name is Sindel and welcome to this webinar. This webinar is Why Do I Stress Eat When I Know Better? Now, most of the people that I work with, they know about the healthy foods, they know about diets, they know about the macros and nutrients, and they have all of this wisdom and all of this knowledge. But why is it that if I know better, why do I still find myself stress eating? If I know better, why do I find myself emotionally eating? And I understand because a lot of the people I work with, they feel really out of control to food. They will go through an entire day doing really, really well with their whatever their diet goals are. They do really well. Then as soon as they get home, they find themselves eating an entire bag of chips, or they find themselves scraping the bottom of an empty ice cream container. And a lot of these individuals that I work with, they feel out of control to food. And how frustrating is that, especially having all of this knowledge and all of this wisdom and knowing that this food is not going to change the situation, right? Also, too, a lot of the people that I work with, and myself included, they feel worried about their health and they feel worried about gaining weight. That's understandable, and a lot of us, we want to have a healthy body for many different reasons so we can feel good. But then maybe also too, it's I want to be able to play football with my kids or softball with my kids. I want to be able to go on hikes with my friends. I want to be able to walk up the stairs and not feel embarrassed because I'm out of breath. And these are all real concerns. And another thing is that feeling so frustrated because logically you know better. Again, you know that eating this food is not going to solve your problems. Eating this food is not going to solve your work situation. Eating the ice cream is not going to solve your relationships or whatever where the stress is coming from. And so because of that, what can happen is that we end up getting into this feel bad and distraction cycle. And so really at the end of the day, our brain just wants to help us feel better. But one of the issues is that we don't understand and always really know exactly what stress is trying to motivate us to do. Stress is such an uncomfortable feeling that our brain just wants us to feel better. So we feel really stressed out. Maybe we feel tired. Maybe we're exhausted, whatever it may be. Our brain is then going to go search for something to make us feel better, to get that dopamine. And food is something that is really easy. And the thing with food is it actually does make us feel better. But there's a couple different things that happen with food. For one, it's not getting to the root of it. It's only a temporary distraction. But another thing too is that food often has a hidden ingredient when we're emotionally eating: guilty residue. So what I want to teach you guys today is two really easy examples and exercises that you're going to be able to use to really begin to create space between you and your actions, create space between you and the stress eating, and becoming more aware of why we stress eat in the first place. And just personally for me, along my journey, I've had a long uncomfortable relationship with food. I've overcome disordered eating. I used to have eating disorders back when I was a teenager, even throughout my early 20s, and overcoming disordered eating. So I understand how it is to have this relationship, this weird relationship with food, to have this uncomfortable relationship with food. So I understand a lot of the obstacles that are in your way, even though my story is different than your story. But I think it's also too really important to understand that there are thousands, millions of Americans alone that really struggle with eating disorders or disordered eating or emotional eating. And a lot of the times we go through it alone because there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of guilt tied to it. So what I want to do for you today is I would like to give you a couple different techniques that you're going to be able to use and gain to, again, to be able to create space between you and the emotional eating, or you and your actions. So this is what I call my emotional tea kettle. It's three steps. The benefit of this is going to help you do a reality check. So first, what we need to do is that we need to understand, what is stress trying to tell us? Stress is the wisdom that says, I have too much on my plate, too much to do, and not enough time or resources to finish it or to do it. Okay. So step one is to recognize, what am I feeling? Well, I'm feeling stressed. So why is the emotional tea kettle starting to bubble and boil, right? So the heat has been turned on. We have this emotional tea kettle. Inside of the tea kettle is all of our emotions, all of the feels, all of the stress. So step one is applying the heat. So you turn on the heat, begins to have the emotional tea kettle start to warm up. So step one is identify your feelings. What are you feeling? Step two is going to be identifying the cause. Why do I feel this way? Am I stressed out because I have too much to do at my work? Am I stressed out because I work all day, then I come home and I have to take care of the kids and I'm just so exhausted? Am I stressed out because of money or relationship issues? So step two is identifying the cause, the why. Okay, so at this point, the emotional tea kettle is screaming and getting your attention. Step three is moving into a satisfying response. So the satisfying response is by doing a reality check. So first, what you're going to do is that you're going to just ask yourself questions. Do I really have too much on my plate to do? Do I really have a reason to feel stressed? Most of us do. Then if the answer is yes, I do have too much to do and I have these stressors in my life, and it is true, not erroneous, then at that point we can begin to break it down. What can I do less often? What can I delegate? What can I completely remove off of my plate? And so going through and just being able to take some stressors out of your life. So maybe that if it's at work and your work is your pain point for why you're so stressed out because you have too much to do, maybe it's having a conversation with your supervisor and being like, this is what I can get done today. It's not realistic that I'm going to be able to do this today. Or maybe it's the stress pain point being at home with your kids. And maybe you'd be having a conversation with your spouse and asking them for their help can you please watch the kids while I go outside for a walk, and being able to delegate when you can. And everyone's situation is going to be different, but really with stress is that energy. So all feelings are good, including stress. So stress is there to motivate us to take action. So what we can begin to do is that we can use stress as a springboard, use that energy to springboard us forward through the situations so we can take action. So being able to even change our mindset around stress, that stress is really not a bad thing. Stress is just trying to help you, motivate you to push through to get through whatever situation that you're going through. And so step 3 with the emotional tea kettle is, again, taking the action. This is doing the reality check. So you are taking your tea kettle with all the warm liquids and you are making your tea because you are now taking action. So now let's go ahead. I'm going to go through the 1, 2, 3 just one more time. You can also do this with other feelings as well too. So first step is identify the feeling. What am I feeling? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling bored? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling lonely? So identifying the feeling. Okay. Step 2 is identifying the cause. Why do I feel this way? Sometimes this helps to verbalize why you feel this way and listening for keywords, or sometimes it helps to write it out. Step 3 is doing a satisfying response. So doing a reality check and asking yourself questions. What evidence do I have to support this? Do I really have too much on my plate? If the answer is yes, because we're talking about stress today, if the answer is yes, then at this point, you're going to see what can you take off your plate? What can you delegate? What can you do less often? And then if the answer is that, no, I really don't have too much on my plate, then at that point, what you want to go do is you want to go create good feelings in the brain and the body, such as, maybe going for a walk, maybe doing some breathing exercises, maybe doing some yoga, maybe playing with your animals, whatever it may be. Because really, at the end of the day, what your brain is just wanting you to feel better. And that's why we go to emotionally eating, because our brain is stressed. Maybe our body is releasing the cortisol. Brain and body is stressed. It just wants to feel better. So that's when we go to the foods that are high in sugar, high in salt, high processed foods, high in fat, because it actually does release dopamine and makes us feel better. Okay. So now we understand the 1, 2, 3. So again, identifying the feeling, identifying the cause, and then taking action, a satisfying response. And then when you begin to do this, you're going to be able to recognize your feelings. It really helps us create that space. It really helps us know too if what I'm feeling is erroneous or what I'm feeling is based in reality. So even it's a mindfulness technique. It's also bringing some emotional wisdom as well too. And then when we can begin to understand and to break down these different parts, we're then at that point to understand. And when we can understand, what the situation is, and that, okay, I'm stressed, I know that this is the issue. Now you know that there's always a different option that you can take versus with food. Because food is only going to be a very short term feel better, but then oftentimes, again, we feel bad, we distract ourselves, and then we feel bad again, sometimes even worse. That feel bad feeling turns into frustration because what you're doing is not working. You're stuck in this rut, going around and round and round in circles. And then even eventually that frustration can turn into depression because what you're doing is not working and feeling so exhausted, just going around and round and round, getting stuck in a rut. So understanding these steps can help us get us out of that rut and begin to break out of this feel bad, distract cycle. So that is something that I would love to see you to start to practice doing the 1, 2, 3, and really giving yourself time to play around with this, because at the end of the day, we're not taught about our feelings. We're not taught about what our emotions are trying to tell us. And, even a lot of professionals don't even really know what feelings are there for, right? And so when we can, again, begin to change our mindset around stress, knowing that stress is just energy, trying to motivate us to take action. And then when we can go through the 1, 2, 3, it can really change our entire relationship around stress. And when we can begin to change our relationship around stress, we start to feel better. We start to take better actions that are going to make us feel better long term. Now, another thing that I want to teach you about is healthy distractors. Okay. So for an example, let's say that you are stressed and that you have so much on your plate and a lot of these things are out of your control, because that happens all the time, right? But you still have the stress. Now, what do you do with it? You have you have the free will and you have a choice. I can go do a healthy distractor, something that's going to make me feel better, or I'm going to be able to go emotionally eat and then, not get closer to my goals, right? So what I want to teach you all is a real quick exercise. This exercise is going to work wonderfully with the 1, 2, 3 that I already taught you. This exercise is also going to help soothe our nervous system, okay? Because we have the vagus nervous system. And this breathing exercise I'm going to teach you helps trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to promote relaxation, okay? So what we do here first is that I'm going to teach you the 4-4-8 breath. So the 4-4-8 breath, whenever our exhale is twice as long as our inhale, this is when we begin to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system. And what's really important to understand about the nervous system is that we have the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. And they're like a light switch. So they both can't be turned on at the same time. So if you think about it, you can't really be relaxed and stressed at the same time. They don't coexist together, right? So when we learn different exercises such as breathing, this is us being able to control the light switch. So then we can turn the light switch on for the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to promote relaxation. It's going to promote more peace of mind. Okay. So what I'm going to teach you is the 4-4-8 breath. The 4-4-8 breath is a really easy exercise. And what's really cool too about learning these exercises is that no one has to know what you're doing. So you can do this at a work meeting. You can do this when you're trying to when you're fighting with your kids about having them put their shoes on. You'll be able to do this, after a long day out as you're driving. So you'll be able to do this whenever you need to. And no one has to know what you're doing. So the 4-4-8 breath. So very simple. All you do is that you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, then slowly exhale out of your mouth for 8 seconds. Sometimes it's also really good to kind of let out a sigh. That makes our brain feel better. So what I'll go ahead and do here is that I'll count for you. Okay. So I'm going to have you breathe in. So get ready. Just take a normal breath. Now go ahead and breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in again for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Normally, people only need to do this 2 or 4 times in order for them to feel the benefits of feeling more relaxed. And when we can learn more about how our brain works and when we can learn more about how our body works, then at that point we can start to learn these hacks, these body hacks of being able to be more in control over everything that we do, say, think, and feel by being able to soothe our nervous system. So those are my 2 exercises that I wanted to give to you because I really want to be able to see you be successful. I want you to be able to create space between you and your actions and to feel better because you deserve that. And I also acknowledge too that there are many obstacles that are in the way. We all have life. We all have things going on. And a lot of these experiences, we go through it alone, or we go through it with our very close-knit circle. So something that I hear quite often, especially with my stress eaters, is that I have too much to do. I don't have time to get this resolved. And even if we go back and we look at the wisdom of stress, what is stress saying to us? That we have too much to do, too much on our plate. So not making the time to get this resolved is really not giving you the self-love and the attention that you deserve, that you deserve. Because you are worthy to overcome this. You are worthy to feel better. You deserve to be able to relax, to have a healthy mind, to have a healthy body, to have a healthy spirit. And another thing that I hear often too is that I don't know if I'll be able to overcome the stress. I've been a stressed out person my entire life. I just don't know if I can overcome it. How can you help me, type of deal, right? And what I have to say about that is that a lot of us are not taught about what the true meaning of stress is, or a different mindset about stress. A lot of us are not taught about emotional wisdom. We're not taught, how to really manage our stress. And sometimes having a coach, a guide, or someone there to help you give a different mindset about stress can make a big shift, big difference. And another one too that I hear is that I can't get over my stress because my stress is coming from, being a mother, or my stress is coming from my work, and I have to stay there. Because I can't just like leave my kids, and I just can't leave work, or I can't just like leave my spouse just because I'm stressed out. So, so all of these stresses and all of these reasons, they're valid. It makes complete and total sense to me. And what is important though is that you are worthy of overcoming these obstacles. You are worthy of feeling better. And you truly, you deserve it. You deserve to have time for yourself. You deserve to be able to relax around food. You deserve to be able to remove any food guilt, not being stuck on a diet for the rest of your life. You deserve all of these. You deserve it. I mean, we all do. So what I would like to do, because I understand that this is a very personal topic, and I would really love to learn more about you, your story, what you've gone through, how you currently manage stress, or how you currently manage your emotional eating, if you have any tools, if you don't have any tools. So what I would love is, I would love to connect with you, and I would love to have a conversation with you. Because again, there's millions of Americans that struggle with emotional eating, that struggle with stress eating. And a lot of us go through it alone, and we don't have to. So please feel free to send me a message so we can work together. Please feel free to send me a message so we can jump on a call together, so we can have a conversation, and just so I can just do my best to help. So thank you so much for tuning in and for watching this. I am really looking forward to hearing from you and hearing about your life and your story and any questions you may have. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, because I know that your time is valuable. So thank you so much. Just remember to continue to practice the 1, 2, 3. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? In a satisfying response. And remember to breathe. So thank you again. Be well, take care, and breathe deeply.